I'm Josh with Skid Pro. We're here with our 48-inch mini cutter. We're going to do our quick start guide, give you some ideas to maximize productivity right out of the gates. Join us. Let's go ahead and get started. To get started, we've already hooked up the QT plate, locked in our pins, hooked up the hydraulic hoses. Go ahead and fire up the machine. The cutter is a thirsty hydraulic attachment, and so we're going to have to rev all the way up before we turn on our continuous flow. On the Kubota, the continuous flow is a button on the keyboard, and then you go ahead and click in whichever direction you want to run. This is a bi-directional cutter, so you can choose which direction you want to run it in. We're going to go ahead and rev up and get started. I should mention too, always have safety glasses at a bare minimum. Keep the mower pointed down towards the ground or away from you and anything else, because if you hit a large log or rock, it can spit it a long ways. So safety first always when running the cutter. Okay, fired up. Now we're going to let it get to full RPM. And we'll take off. This is a very heavy duty cutter, and so you have a tendency to be a little bit light in back on these small minis, especially on the bigger 48-inch models. So you just got to be aware of that. Stay on flat terrain, don't side hill, just pay attention to what you're doing. I like to come in like this first at a little taller height so I see what's there, and then I'll put my nose down and kind of back drag out. That's the easiest way to get nice and close to the ground. Try and avoid rocks. Or big stumps like that. Tilt it back, drive in. You always want to make sure, you can see by the camera, my deck is below, I can't see the bottom back of my deck. If you can see the bottom, if you're raised up high enough, that means debris could come back, ricochet off the machine and come at the operator. So again, always want to keep this as close to the ground as possible. Also, always nice to be nice and slow when you start. Here we got a big brush. We'll go ahead and tilt it back so it can feed in nice. Notice how my bottom deck is still down. My loader arms are low. Come in. There you can see the mower pulled down a little. That's normal when you're running a big cutter. Just give it time to speed back up and then go and continue cutting. For safety, we always run the blades underneath and then but you can see that doesn't inhibit the cutting ability of this at all. There's another big buckthorn. Just keep that deck nice and low. And then we tilt forward and cut it right at ground level. Come back at the brush. and we back drag. Process is the same for heavy grass. I like to take my first cut a little higher. I know heavy grass seems simple, but it's actually one of the hardest things for a cutter to handle because it's that constant resistance that pulls at the motor. So I like to back drag there too. First one I'll take with the deck tilted up. First pass. It's got to slow down if it's too much for the cutter, and we back drag our way out. Well, there you have it. Always remember, safety first when operating a cutter on a Mini. If you have any questions at any time, you know how to get a hold of us, 877-378-4642, or you can always visit us online at skidpro.com. And our promise to you, better products, better service, happier customers.